Hello and welcome to my podcast. This is Rachel Paling and I am the creator of Neurolanguage Coaching, a new approach and method for language learning. And this podcast is dedicated to the phenomena or the concept of language coaching and what this is. So many people are asking me, what is language coaching? How is it coming into language learning? Is it some sort of psychotherapy? And what is going on nowadays that everybody wants to call themselves a language coach? So I thought it would be really interesting just to give you a little insight. Firstly, what has been my journey creating neurolanguage coaching. And then having some little mini interviews with different people from the language teaching world, some great professionals who are going to be joining me, and I'm going to be interviewing them to get their take on what this is and what's happening and how the market is changing in this respect. Now, 18 years ago, I landed in Germany and was going to work for a school in the Ruhrgebiet. And this particular school said that they did language coaching. And this was 18 years ago in the year 2000. In fact, I remember it well. It was the January of 2000 and I landed in the middle of a snowstorm and I was really wondering where I had landed. And interestingly, the school were saying that I should do language coaching with some clients and taking a higher price, and language teaching with other clients and taking a lower price. And this for me was quite phenomenal because I didn't know how to make a difference. And I kept asking myself, well, how can I justify being a higher price with this client when I'm the same person? So I started to develop myself as a coach, as a life coach. And in fact, I was about 5 or 6 years coming into life coaching, doing training in executive coaching, team coaching, intuitive coaching, and also brain-based coaching, which is coaching with neuroscience. And I also did a diploma in coaching and in psychotherapy and CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and started to put this together and started to, let's say, experiment and experience this with clients, doing different things, getting feedback from what I was doing. And in the year 2012 is when I sat down and crystallized neurolanguage coaching. If I take this a step back and we talk about language coaching, let's say as a phenomena, what I am noticing is that worldwide, language educators are changing. And intuitively, I think that language educators and even educators, teachers, we are all shifting into a much more intuitive, responsive manner because our learners are changing. We know that the learners of today have attention problems. With new technology, our brains are not able to keep that attention and focus for such a long time. So we need to change the way that we're delivering. We also know that people are learning with stress, and we cannot learn with stress. We know from the brain perspective that just one single dose of cortisol in the brain will affect the learning. So I am witnessing all over the world, and I speak with teachers from all over the world, how many are intuitively shifting. I believe there should be some type of training in the background. And for example, what I do, the neurolanguage coaching, the courses that I offer are all accredited by the International Coach Federation. Coaching is not a regulated profession. So we have various institutions worldwide. There is the European Coaching Board, the Institute of Coaching, the International Coaching Federation, for example, who are the major game setters, if you like. They are setting out the standards, they're giving us the guidelines, they're giving us the professional ethics of what it is to be a coach. So I do believe if we're calling ourselves a coach, there should be some type of training and accredited training in the background. So, language coaching, could it be that it's about bringing elements from the coaching profession, such as the models, the tools, the standards, the ethics, the guidelines, even bringing in the structure, which is the goal setting, the action setting, the motivation conversations, and really tailor making everything to the client? Could that be what we are creating as our definition of language coaching in the world? Now, I know that there are some people who do or go beyond that, and they are coaching people around personal issues or around business problems or missions or goals, and they're coaching them in another language. Now, for me, that is about life coaching or business coaching in another language. It's not focused on improving or developing a language. And somehow I do think that language coaching should always be about improving, developing, sharpening, in whatever way, the language knowledge of the client. That's what the client is there for. So whatever we do as a coach, as a language coach, even as a neurolanguage coach, we have to be very sure what is our purpose. What is our mission when we're sitting there in front of our client? What is it that they want to achieve? Now, one step away from that, we go into Neurolanguage Coaching, which is the new approach and method that I've created. And this is bringing in all of the elements that I've just mentioned about coaching, plus we are bringing in the dimension of the brain, the neuroscience, and how the brain likes to learn, how the brain functions, how the brain reacts. And all of my coaches are trained in aspects of the brain learning, functioning, and reacting. And we are trained in such a way that we are able to share that information with our clients. So the client brings in the awareness of what's happening, how are they learning, how do they learn best, what works, what doesn't. Plus, we are trained in the ability of coaching people around blocks and negative mindset or anything that is hindering the acquisition of the language. And we're also able to give tips and hints on how to create memories, what's happening when we create memories, how do we get those short-term into long-term. So we're also looking at how that particular person or people are able to acquire the language, knowing that everybody is different. We all have unique brains. And in such a way that even, I was reading this summer, that the US are creating now a brain print for each and every one of us, because we have fingerprints, we have iris prints, but in fact they've seen that we all have a unique brain signature. And that is what's going to come next. And there we can see just how unique each and every one of us are. You know, I always say, you have amazing brains. We all do. The question is, how can we understand ourselves? And as a neurolanguage coach, the awareness begins with us. When we start to understand ourselves, how we function, learn, and react, we're then able to really share that information and get the best for our client and help empower that client to come into the language how they need to come into the language. I always say that everybody can learn languages. The question is, how can their teacher, trainer, coach give them the keys to get in? And that's what we need to find with each and every client, their keys to unlock their doors in their mind. So I do hope you've enjoyed today, just a little bit defining what is language coaching and what is neurolanguage coaching. And join me in my next podcast, where I will be interviewing Rob Howard, who is an amazing language professional. He's been a professional for years and very well known. And I'm going to be asking Rob what he thinks about language coaching. Have a super day wherever you are.